Let's go! Come on!
Welcome back to the Top 6 show. Chelsea Football Club reach an agreement to sign Joao Felix from Atletico Madrid. Arsenal were reportedly over the weekend leading the race. The player had his preferred destination set as Arsenal, according to the mainstream media. But Chelsea have done it again. They have gazumped another team. They've created another hijack. And Joao Felix is very likely to now be a Chelsea player for the remainder of this Premier League season. We're going to delve into this in more detail. Also going to be taking a look at Arsenal. Of course, they play Oxford tonight. What do they do next with the Mudryk deal reportedly now being their priority, or always having been their priority? Chelsea are also at it again. It does look like Chelsea are going to try and hijack Tottenham's move for Pedro Porro as well. We're going to be focusing on Todd Boehly quitting his role as sporting director. Chelsea are a massive focus today because they got battered again yesterday by City. We're looking at Man United and Weghorst and how all these signings are going to impact the title race, as from this weekend, we all know how epic the Premier League is going to become. I've got a brilliant panel here with me tonight. Have Hope repping Chelsea, clearly in a good mood. Well, we think he's in a good mood. We don't know after the Joao Felix news. We've got Gunnar Lee here joining us back in Arsenal. We've got Patrick here from a Tottenham point of view. Probably was going to laugh at Arsenal and then realizes that Chelsea are trying to take one of their targets. We've got Neeks here to speak Weghorst on all things Manchester United. And JJ is here backing Liverpool today after one of the biggest controversies in FA Cup history at the weekend with a crazy offside goal that should have had him knocked out the cup that was given. We're going to delve into that and much, much more on the Terrace. Please hit like buttons right now. Just get it done. Whatever you're doing, smash the like button and come back and leave comments after the show is done as well. We don't ever see your live comments again. So any feedback you've got, please come back and give them to us. But gents, we've got to jump straight into it. We have to jump straight into this. Joao Felix will become a Chelsea player. Have Hope, talk to me. You've hijacked Arsenal. You've got ahead of Manchester United. The player is now yours. What are you saying?
Well, first of all, I mean, with all due disrespect, it wasn't really a hijack of Lil Bro. I think Felix saw Arsenal and Chelsea and was like, what the heck am I doing going to a club that doesn't even speak a basic UCL? They don't even speak a basic UCL. So why was he doing this? So Chelsea, bigger club, 10th, 11th, much bigger club, is a club with actual European pedigree. So he was always going to go there. Terry, man, I've been suffering, Terry, man. Terry, I now know what they mean by mental health. Like, there's a thing called BetterHelp. And I think I'm going to have to apply to BetterHelp because the mental abuse I've received in the last few days has been tough. The memes, the attack and everything. And also, he's still not Todd B yet, but look, baby steps. Like when you have like a baby, if you get a baby to walk, you'll probably break his legs. You have to get a baby.
I mean, you said he's Todd
Terry,
B.
Terry. I said he's Todd Bowley. He's Todd. Please come. Can you delete that thing? Can you delete it? Okay. So basically, look,
I won't play it again. I promise. Okay.
Here's the thing. I don't want to jinx anything. Todd B. I don't want to jinx anything. Because I don't want to look like a fool. But you see, I feel I was put on this earth to protect and to promote the ballers. I was here to promote the Techniques, the Salinis, those guys that gave us that vavavoom, And I know people say that Felix is not that good, but he's been playing under a prisoner. He's been imprisoned by that terrorist tyrant, known as Diego Simeone. So think about this. He's been under Fernando Santos and Simeone, two criminals, top two on the most wanted list. If all Chelsea need is a guy with a bit of vavavoom, a bit of sasa, a bit of lala, him coming in with his dynamism and his brain, hopefully that loser Mounts can also go the other way. I don't know. I don't care where he goes, just long as he freaking goes. But Terry, I know that you're the inside guy. You know all the inside things. I've seen you on CNN, BBC. You're world famous now. I've seen your car, Ferrari, mansion. It is what it is. You're living big. So I know you know all the inside scoop. But Terry, it's not done yet. Until he holds up a Chelsea jersey, then Terry, drinks are on me. If he holds up that Chelsea jersey, drinks are on me. Bro, but please don't clip, because I know you're going to clip me. Let me be very clear. Easy, let me be clear here. He may fail.
Liquor. Can you afford the liquor I drink, brother? That's the question.
Terry, I know you're big time. I will try. I will rob a bank if I have to. I know it's
like
$2,000 a bottle. I know it is $2,000 a bottle. I'll try.
Question about the deal. Let's just assume the deal's going to go through, because generally when Ornstein says something, it happens. He very rarely goes in this far, Ornstein, for it to fall through. This super chat here from Joshua says 4.3 million plus taxes to be a showroom. I don't know what that means, and have no control in July. I'm going to ask you this question, Gunali, because Arsenal was seemingly in for him as well. Is this good business by Chelsea, considering that if Joao Felix kills it, they have no control in re-signing him in the summer?
Listen, man, big up to everyone on the panel. Firstly, Happy New Year, man. I don't really think I've spoken to many of you on this panel. So yeah, listen, blessings to everybody on this panel. But have hope. You did say you don't want to make yourself look like a fool, but I think when you open your mouth, you do the damage yourself, man. I don't know what's going on.
Oh wow,
that was below the belt. Terry, can I have that?
Shots fired already.
The propaganda about your team is
little bro, know your place, man.
Man said Happy New Year, and then the next thing was
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
We got to make sure that we give the love and thanks and we send our shots. But yeah, we here, man. But listen, big up to everyone. But yeah, for me, look, I'm not going to slander any deal that Chelsea are doing for Joao Felix. I said, look, he's a great talent. I think everybody here would not ever doubt his quality. My main thing was with him, has he got that high motor? Is he ready to come in and win a championship for Arsenal? Is he there to drive a team forward? Now, I would put questions on him and what he's got in his mind about what he's going to do at Chelsea. Has he come for a holiday? Has he come for a pay packet? Has he come just to visit London? Or has he come to challenge and put you into the top four? That has to be questioned, because ultimately your team is not playing well at this moment in time. And it doesn't seem to play well. You've got Havertz, you've got Pulisic, you've got Mount, you've got now him coming through with Felix. It's all a bit of a mismatch. I think all of those players, I believe, need to play off a striker. None of them are a striker. So that's just my opinion. But look, I'm not going to slander the player. I'm not even going to slander Chelsea and what they're doing, because ultimately, look, if they're spending the money and it gets them top four, who are we to complain? It's the same with Anthony. If Anthony's £100 million, right now he doesn't look great, but if he gets them to a position where they win the Europa League, or no problem. I'm not going to sit here and slander. So. Keep my
player's name out your mouth.
Listen, man. Listen.
I say that because at the start of the season, you had not a positive word to say about Man United. We were in the slumps. We were in the dump. We were nothing.
And where are we now? Give Arsenal some credit.
Wait. You have to hold your hand up and say, you know what? I might have been a little bit wrong about Man United. They're doing better than us.
I've done that. I'm happy to admit.
Cool.
Give Arsenal some credit.
You have to put in a little.
Give Arsenal some credit. Hold on. Give Arsenal some credit. Why not?
No, we'll get to Arsenal in a bit. We're not talking about Arsenal yet. Listen, you know what I'm saying about the Chelsea thing, and you make a good point. If he comes in and gets Champions League football, okay, job done. Doesn't matter whether you sell him to another Atletico, sell him to another club because you haven't got a buy option. But let's be honest. They're out the FA Cup, they're out the League Cup, and they're out of the top four race. Chelsea are 10 points.
Next, you're not Nostradamus. You can't say that. You're not Nostradamus. You've not seen the future.
Chelsea are 10 points behind Man United. They're 8 points behind Spurs, and 8 points behind. No, what was I saying? 3 points behind Liverpool.
It's not even halfway through the season. We're not even halfway through the season.
If you were only 10 points behind Man United and they were the only team stopping you from getting top four, fair enough, you got a chance. But you have to get more points than Man United by 10, potentially by Newcastle by 10, Spurs by 8, and Liverpool. You're not doing that. It's not happening. So what?
Spurs and Liverpool.
What have you got him for? On a 6-month loan with no option to buy, what have you got him for? To win the Champions League? Is that what you're telling me? If you win the Champions League with Felix, fair enough, great business.
Can he play in the Champions League? Is he not contact?
He can play. Gunali, it's all good. He can play in the UCL. He can play.
If you got him to finish 7th and play Conference League football, then it's a waste of a transfer. He has done nothing for you other than to show your mind that you've got money to throw away.
Man, Nick's a hater, man.
I just want to ask you one question, though, and again, I'm not really coming from a slander point of view in it. But do you think that he's actually going to do as well as you maybe believe, because I don't know if that's a Potter signing or is that a club signing. Does Potter know how to use him? Does Potter know how to manage these bigger named players? Because he seems at this current moment in time, and it's only been 25 games he's played or managed, or was it 30 games he's managed for Chelsea? He seems to be struggling with the bigger name players. He seems to be struggling with the Aubameyangs again. He seems to be struggling with the Sterlings. He seems to be struggling with the Koulibalys. And I'm not putting it all on him. I had a big argument with someone today. I don't know why people are putting the pressure on the manager when your team isn't great. I just don't think that's fair. But what I will say is that this signing doesn't come across as somewhere who Todd Bowley said, you know what, manager, do you want this guy? I'm not too sure. So what do you think, man?
All right. Do you want the honest answer or the fanboy answer?
Honesty, please.
Jeez, you're so boring. Okay, the honest answer is this, man. The honest answer is this. I need some happiness in my life. So this is just some joy because, wow, a player I rate and a player who I've rated for several years is coming. But the reality is this. It's not a Potter signing. No one knows what the heck is happening. Chelsea went for Mudryk because, he's trending on Twitter, let's go. They're going for Felix because it's the flavor of the month and it's cool and people are talking about it on Twitter. I don't even know whether it's fitting because, as you guys said, who's the striker? It ain't Baby Drogba. It ain't Aubameyang who you ruined. Thank you very much, Gunali, who you ruined and so forth. So my thing is, him single-handedly isn't going to change Havertz, Pulisic, Jorginho, Mount, and all the crap. Chelsea need minimum 3-4 players. A total revamp. The team is rusty because this team is an amalgamation of 3 or 4 managers with different ideologies. It's a mess. But it's a complete mess.
What I would say is this. I think for me, I know that you're going to now get Arsenal say he wasn't. I'm sure this has been written by a journalist. I haven't looked, but I guarantee a journalist has already said Arsenal were never that serious. It's all about Mudryk. Has that been written yet? Probably. Because this is what
I've not seen that yet. I've not seen it yet.
Okay, but I guarantee in the next 12 hours you will see a top-level journalist say that, and Arsenal will brief it. But I think Arsenal, I don't think they're sensible for not signing him. But Chelsea have made this market difficult for everybody. They've made it difficult with Mudryk by telling Shakhtar they'll pay the asking price or nearer to the asking price, meaning they haven't accepted your bid yet. Equally, you read one of the stories over the weekend, which holds a lot of truth now that Arsenal have signed him for $9.5 million loan fee. They stated that Arsenal had negotiated a $9.5 million loan fee and were looking for a £70 million option to buy. I think Arsenal are sensible in it from the point of view of you have to have an option to buy him, because if he comes into Chelsea and is amazing, you may lose him in the summer to a team that is then in the Champions League. You could lose him to City, you could lose him to Liverpool, you could lose him to Arsenal, you could lose him to Barcelona, Real Madrid, probably not, but
I disagree. I think Arsenal and Chelsea situation is different. Chelsea, for me, as I said before, I don't think they have anything to play for. So that for me, it's a silly loan. It's a waste of 6 months. Whereas Arsenal, they're trying for the title. If they get him for 5 months, 6 months without an option, and that takes them over the edge, who cares if he goes to PSG?
No, I understand that, but I think Athletic, once Chelsea said we're willing to pay the loan fee, we don't want an option. Actually, with the club that didn't want an option to buy, they want it. Their view is they want control of the situation in the summer to create a bidding war. So I think this is suited Atletico. Of course, Man United and by the way, Man United will copy Arsenal and will come out with a sentence via one of their tier ones very soon that says we were never that interested. We've got other key focuses. It was a bit of a pipe dream, but we weren't that serious. We know what they're going to write because it's the same PR response for every player we miss out on. But I think the only issue with this deal for Chelsea is that you have no control over him in the summer. And in the short term, he ain't winning you the Champions League. So I don't really get what you get out of bringing him in because there's no longevity within the deal.
They're trying to sweeten him up. They're hoping they get him through the door. They can talk him round. And in the summer, he wants to join Chelsea. Yeah. But then if he's not in the Champions League and the Champions League club comes in for him, is he going to be attached to Chelsea?
Well, what if he enjoys his time at Chelsea? What if he enjoys his time?
What I will say,
enjoys their time at Chelsea.
What I will say from an Arsenal point of view is, I think it's always been Mudryk +1. I don't think it was Felix +1. I always think that I think it was always a position where it would be absolutely amazing. And look, I'm not going to sit here and, as I said, be a stupid person to say he's not great. I'm never going to kind of be shameless like that. He is a fantastic footballer. Some of the skill he put on against Liverpool last season in the Champions League, even though they lost, was absolutely sublime, and he was really, really good. But equally, again, I've questioned a bit of his mentality, and is he really gonna move the needle wholeheartedly? For me, I don't actually believe so in terms of winning the league. Now with Mudryk, as I said, I think that was the main goal. That is the main goal, and I think where we are, I think with Arteta, that's the guy that he's been really chasing, and that's been the player that's been I've been saying off in panty for Arsenal. So listen, man, I hope that happens. I hope that deal happens, and I hope that we really can push forward with Mudryk, because we still have ESR, we still have Martinelli, we still have Saka, and we still have Jesus to come back.
Yeah, no, but sorry, just quickly.
Right,
and just very briefly.
I need to let the viewers know we are going to move on to the Mudryk deal a little bit later, so stay with us, Arsenal conversation later in the show. We've got some super chats here I want to go to. The first one says, big up, Terry. Why does this channel never take into the fact that Chelsea have 7 first-team injuries? DJ, we've spoken about that in the last...
I literally said that as well last podcast as well. So
yeah, Patrick said it, and I said it in the last 3 match reactions. It's definitely been brought up as a talking point, my friend. First of all, thank you for the super chat. My suggestion is watch all our shows, and then you would know that we talk about it.
I want to know what Chelsea fans or any other fans, and JJ can probably tell us, were they feeling sorry and taking into account the injuries that Liverpool had a few years ago when they were calling Klopp a bum and the time is over? They weren't.
No one cares.
No one cares. Get on with it. You got a job to do. Get on with it. That's
Hold that.
I
know. I think a midfielder is needed more than an attacker, is what Ginger Fury 97 believes in relation to Chelsea. And AJ says Chelsea now make the Conference League. Ammonia be scared is what he's got to say. They might not even be in the Conference League next year. This super chat here says Todd B is just trying to get Arsenal signing since the summer. Now he is getting Felix to get him ready for Arsenal in the summer. Can you imagine how that goes down? Imagine like Chelsea get Felix back to his best firing, and then Arsenal just buy him in the summer for 80 million. It would be hilarious. It would actually be hilarious.
God forbid. God forbid.
You say God forbid, but it could happen. There's a super chat here. Thank you, Joseph. You didn't say anything, but thank you very much for the donation. It means a great deal. Honesty here says off topic, but big up Bale for a great footballing career. And let's have a laugh at Portugal for appointing Martinez as their coach. Yeah, of course, Gareth Bale, one of the greatest British players of all time, legend of Wales, legend of Real Madrid. I think the only place he ever played where he didn't win a trophy was Tottenham. Is that right?
I knew that was coming. Still a legend at Spurs, though.
He won more at LAFC. LAFC, a club that's about 3 years old or something. It's crazy.
I couldn't even hate because I didn't want him to win that just so they, so that stat couldn't be like damning to Tottenham. But because I like Bale so much, I was like, you know what, just have it. So
I love that.
It's always Tottenham, innit? It's always Tottenham.
This here says United were never in for Felix. Most players linked to United have a bad relationship with Ten Hag. Have had a past relationship with Ten Hag. Yeah, listen, we're going to get onto Weghorst a little bit later and that powerhouse of a signing, but look, the United were definitely involved and interested. The reason that they are, and I know everyone's desperate to defend their clubs, but if you weren't in for a player, the press release that comes out when they sign for someone else, why would your club not release that when the first rumor comes out? Simple. You don't wait until it's dead in the water. They go, oh, by the way, we were never in for him. It's just, I'm sorry, I can't buy into it. I'm too intelligent to believe it. I'm sorry. And that sounds very arrogant, but it insults my intelligence it's the timing of it always. Like Man United make your statement 6 weeks ago when we first got linked with him and go, no, don't want him at all. But no one does. Why? Because they're involved. This here says, Terry, thoughts on United signing goalkeeper? You really think I'm going to You really think I'm going to fall for that?
They also got me as well. That's, I fell for it. I fell for it.
You've got to get up early to get the king, brother. I've never been caught out by one of these names yet. You'll never. Sincerely, if somebody catches me out with one of these dirty names, I will donate £1,000 to a charity of your choice. But you'll never ever catch me ever on one of them bad boys. Andrew here says Chelsea don't seem to have a scouting network. Wait for a top 6 team to bid, then they go in for them. It's insulting. No strategy at all. Well, that brings us into our next story because there are big reports from Simon Phillips, who's very credible, works at TalkSport, very well respected in the Chelsea community, that Chelsea are now in talks with the agent of Pedro Porro in an attempt to hijack his potential move to Tottenham. So they're coming for your boy now, Patrick, down there. And you guys are in for him. Like, you guys are close to signing.
100%.
They're trying to hijack you as well.
Yeah, keep your dirty mitts off him, have hope. Leave him
Patrick,
alone, man.
relax.
Leave him
It is
alone.
what it is.
Honestly,
It is what it is.
It's mad. And we was getting onto you guys about the Arsenal and whatever. It's just, literally, you have no plan. There's no strategy there. You're just scattergunning. Whenever a top 6 club bids for someone or is interested, you're like, okay, that guy must be half decent. Let me go for him. It's actually mad. The thing is, you're laughing at it because you know it's true. It's mental. A club of your stature doing that.
Look, Patrick, we're just trying to live, man. We're just trying to live.
There's no plan. No, honestly, have hope. Like, who is it? Is it Todd B doing all of this, or is it a DOF, or is it just like what's going on?
Look, Patrick. Look, no one knows what's happening.
Chelsea have always done this, though. Chelsea took...
No, Terry, this is a new law. This is a new law.
I don't think it is. Chelsea, you took Ian Robin, you took Obi Mikel, Eden Hazard, and probably a couple of others directly. Willian done his goddamn medical at Tottenam and went to you. Like, Chelsea have got a history of doing this. I don't think it's just a Todd Boehly thing, but Todd Boehly, he is like a kid in a sweet shop. Do you know what I mean? As soon as he sees, Arsenal are about to sign someone, let me just put a bid in and see what happens. Like, the guy is a madman.
No, because even the whole Mudryk thing as well, it's like, because obviously we'll get to it, but just very briefly, Mudryk works perfectly for what Arteta is doing, because when you watch his clips and so forth, you can see how he fits in. What are Chelsea doing trying to get Mudryk? There are so many other systematic issues that need to be happening before you even think of getting a Mudryk alone ain't going to solve Chelsea's issues. You put Mudryk into Arsenal, boom, he fits in like a glove based on his playing style. So my fear is, bro, 300 million has already been spent. There are guys whose names I can't even pronounce. They're like 4 barreled names. So my thing though is, I don't know whether are these Potter signings, are these Boehly signings? You spent 300 mil on a manager you sacked. So my thing is, look, they say that too much negativity makes your skin go crazy. I'm clutching at straws for any piece of happiness right now. I'm clutching at straws. But if you want to be real, I don't know what's happening.
Have hope. Do you think you're going to get top 4? Because I even tweeted yesterday, and again, no banter. I didn't know you were 10th. I actually didn't know you were.
You knew, man. How do you not know?
No, because in all seriousness, and obviously because I've not been at the top,
your eyes can't go that low.
No, genuinely, because I haven't been at the top of the league for a long time.
Here we go.
But it's true. I don't know. Obviously, as an Arsenal fan, I've not been watching Match of the Day for years because we've been losing week in, week out. And it's true, it happens. So now you lot are 10th. I was like, hold on, you lot are actually 10th. So like, do you actually think you're going to get top 4? Even with the addition with Felix?
We take each week as it comes. So Thursday is Fulham, and let's just get those 3 points. Again, every game, we take each game as it comes. I can't give you a straight answer.
Giving us brief media responses. We don't want to hear media responses.
We're taking each week as it comes.
10 is the magic number because they're 10th in the league, 10 points from top 4, 10 points from relegation. Like, it's just 10. 10 out of 10 season, if you ask me.
But you have to admit, though, have hope. It is very alarming. Not only are you not playing well, you've got a manager who I don't know who you back or you believe in. I think he's actually a good manager. I'm never going to say that. I think he's very good. And then you also have like an owner who's just buying anything, he's giving those players to the manager. The manager's not actually picking these players, so he's being forced to play players and into a formation, into a tactic. Doesn't want to play.
Basically, no. The biggest issue is you spent 300 mil on a manager you sacked. So those players you bought under Tuchel, were those Tuchel's players, or were those your players, or were those your players knowing that Potter was going to come in? No one knows. All we know is 300 mil was spent on a manager you sacked. So from the outside is, how do you sack a manager and he gives you 300 mil? Because if you peep deeper, he never wanted Tuchel in there. But if you come in and you sack Tuchel, the fans will now revolt against you. What's the best way to sack Tuchel after you lose to Dynamo Zagreb and you're playing badly? So therefore, it softens the blow. But the issue now have is some clueless Chelsea fans want Tuchel back. That's stupid. The issue is, I think Tuchel should have been sacked. Whoever said bringing Potter into this situation? He's a good coach. He is a good manager. Is he the right manager for this situation? You know what guys are saying? Hey, back Potter, he could turn out to be like Arteta. Here's the difference here. Potter, when he's at Chelsea, is like, oh my gosh, there's Mount, there's Aubameyang, this is all cool because this is such a big step up from him for Brighton. So literally, he's like a kid in a candy store. Oh, this is amazing. The difference with Arteta is he may have had no managerial experience, but what did he have? He was in close proximity to how to build a winning team, how to build a winning project. So when he came into Arsenal, he could have demands of excellence based on what he had with Pep. This guy's coming from Brighton, So the issue is, you've taken the Brighton scouts, Brighton cleaning lady, the Brighton window cleaner. It's like, what? I mean, come on. It's turning into Brighton 2.0. So,
but you know what it is, I hate that argument of, like, if you want to back Potter, for me, it's fair enough. If you've gone, I think there's arguments for that as well. But the argument that look at what Arteta's done, I think is so flawed because Arteta came 8th, and 5th. Now, if you're saying back Potter now because look at what Arteta's done, I want to know that if Chelsea come 8th, and 5th, are you still going to say, well, Arteta came 8th, and 5th, therefore Potter should stay? That's just not how football works. Arteta's done what he's done despite the struggles he had at the start. If Potter struggles in his first 2-3 years, if he's here that long, that doesn't mean the 4th year is going to be in a title challenge. It doesn't work like that. So I think judging based on what you judge him on, but don't look at Arteta as he's the evidence that you have to give him. How long? How long do you give him as long as Arteta got? Or are you saying just give him a year or what? I think for me personally, if you're not in a relegation battle, which is not too far away, he'll keep him until the end of the season. But he's got a couple months after that transfer window closed. Once he's got his players in, he's got Christmas at the latest, similar to Lampard. Christmas at the latest next year to get that team playing proper football. Where's gonna go?
But my issue is, I think Twitter is a microcosm, so you can't really judge consensus based on Twitter. Because if you judge it based on Twitter, then Avatar would be a box office flop, but it ain't. But I do believe, though, that there is a consensus that a lot of people didn't want Tuchel to be sacked. And I don't think that there's a consensus that people wanted Potter to be brought in. So as much as Bowley wants to back him, I don't think that the fans as a whole are behind Potter. I think that if Chelsea continue to play badly and continue to lose games, there's going to be vocal discomfort towards Potter and so forth. So it really depends on the performances and the results, because you're going to be like, okay, it's a process. If Chelsea are 15th playing basement level fruit selling football, there'll be another civil war to follow on from the Lampard civil war. So
half up. Don't lie. You're hurting because of that Enzo deal. The fact it fell through, because last time I was on here with you, you were up in arms telling me top 4's on the cards, getting Enzo is this. Do you know what I mean? And now you seem a bit deflated. I just want to know how you're feeling about that.
Well, Jerry, the issue is, I think I remember Liverpool fans saying that Enzo was a done deal after the World Cup. So
not me.
Yeah. Oh no, you as well, Jerry. You as well. No. Let me respond. So you, with your Liverpool fans and so forth, the moment he picked up the Young Boy trophy, Enzo deal done. I saw Enzo in a Liverpool jersey. Full in a Liverpool jersey. I was like, wow, Jerry, let me land. Jerry, let me land. So my thing is,
but there's nothing to land on because it's amazing.
How's
that you're
doing?
The spokesperson for all Liverpool
Henderson,
fans. I'm talking about you. Talk about me. What did I say?
Jerry, I'm putting you in a whole group. So before you attack me, you said Enzo to Liverpool, that was a done deal. You said it was a done deal. Jerry, what's this happening to your new midfielders? Klopp says that everything is fine. Klopp says that Henderson is still tops.
And he's in the mud, and he's a lunatic. What do you want me to say? He's a lunatic. He's a lunatic.
So wait, Jerry, are we saying Klopp out? Are we saying Klopp out?
Oh, wow. Klopp out. Oh, wow. Jesus.
Yes. Check the channel, yes.
Oh, wow.
He's been saying it. I've been watching, man. You've been watching.
Lee, have I been saying it? How long have I been
saying it, man? He's been saying
I've
it,
been
man.
saying
He's
it.
been
I'm
saying it.
talking about you. You're I like that tactic, the kind of diverging thing. I'm asking you. You were talking about the Enzo deal. Top 4 is done. The energy is different. I want to know why.
Can I respond?
Of course.
So last I checked, I think, I don't know, maybe things have changed, Jerry. Maybe things have changed, JJ. Maybe things have changed. But JJ, last I checked, I think there are 38 games in a season. So, and last I checked, I think, again, mathematically I'm right, I did my thing, CCS maths, shout out to Miss Smallwood. I think 19 is half of 38. So we're not even halfway through the freaking season. So, Jerry, you're struggling as well. I saw that Brentford game. I saw you guys got touched. Alisson Becker, what's up? He aight. Yeah. So my thing is, you're in the dogfight as well. You are in the same dogfight with us as well. So don't start talking about that. So you're all through. We're fighting for the same thing.
I'm in the dogfight, but I've accepted we're in the dogfight. You're here talking about Enzo Fernandez coming in. He's going to get you top 4. So I'm asking you, what's changed? Because the tone you're coming with now, Liverpool attacked you, and you're mellow. You're mellow. Have hope. Don't really have hope at the moment. Where's the hope?
No. He always has some. It's January 9th. The night is still young. Trust me, there are going to be a lot more twists and turns through the thing because trust me, Jared, don't be shocked that Terry puts out a tweet says Chelsea trying to say what's up. So watch for Terry Flow. Watch for @Terry Flowers. Because once he puts out that tweet, JJ, don't. I'm warning you. Once Terry Flowers puts out that tweet says done deal, it's about to pop off. I'm just saying. So the night is still young. The night is young.
Can I just say on behalf of everybody, #Klopp in, please. #Klopp in, please.
Yes, please.
Lee, are we really going to do that? You want to air the dirty laundry or not?
Jared, I need him to be manager for the Chelsea game, please.
I ain't going to lie to you, bro. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying one thing and one thing only, man. I've been saying, I tweeted to Mont. I said to him at the start of the season, if you have Klopp as your manager, he's not going to take you to where you want to go to. And look where we are, man.
Is it? But you know that from personal experience, though, isn't it?
Listen, man, you need to do what you want to do, man. I don't know where you people are getting these rumors from, but listen, it is what it is.
Liverpool League. Just check that out, people. Just
listen,
search Twitter. Search Liverpool League.
People be fabricating. You know what? I've been hearing madness that not months. Roms is an Arsenal fan. Listen, man, I hear that. People be making
about you. What?
People be making stuff up all the time, man.
So what am I getting this right? So the rumor is that Gunnar Lee is really
Liverpool League. And guys,
the maddest thing. You know what? They people be making up anything, man.
Well, probably. I think what you need to do is you need to get some pictures from when you were a kid of you and your Arsenal kits.
Listen, man, I can do that. It's quite easy, bro. Yeah. It's not that difficult.
Call your mum now.
You know what? I should do that. I'll do that live. I'll do that live for you right now if you need.
And I'm saying now, if we see a picture of you when you're 10, if you ain't got a bald head and a beard, I ain't believing it's you.
I was moving like Chris Brown back in the day. I look like Jerry, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You look like Jerry. What happened? Jerry's
listen, man. Women, bro.
Mate, I hear you on that. I hear you on that. All the young men going, what do you mean? You'll get there.
Listen, man, that's what it is.
I obviously ain't had enough women. God damn.
Listen, you need to start watching Man United, bro. Get out of there, bro. You got to get out of there, bro.
No, there we go. I'm not surprised you're Klopp out, by the way, JJ. Like, I'm not surprised. But when was the point where because I haven't seen you since before Christmas, before I went Doha. So like when was the turning point for you to say that's it, Klopp's got to go?
Do you know what it is? The turning point was accumulating because from last season was really saying that there weren't changes. I know we were going for the quad, but I've been out there saying I'm not seeing the changes that I want to see. It's the same thing, kind of rinse and repeat. And I know it sounds mad when you say Klopp out, but it's not because I don't respect Klopp. It's not because I think he's all it is, but he's not making any changes like tactically now. Like tactically, he's not making any changes to go and rectify any situation. So we're here. You can talk about FSG. You can talk about all the other different kind of elements as to why Klopp's not succeeding. But ultimately, like we're going to get into it probably later on. But your strongest team, essentially, including the new signing Gakpo, and you can't beat Wolves' B team. That's a tactical deficiency. So for me, this probably, I got to say, I think it's probably Brighton. Brighton was for me when I was like, oh, earlier on in the season. I think, since then it's just been accumulating. But I don't know. I just don't see changes. And for me, if I saw changes, I'd be completely different. But he's quite stubborn as a manager. He's going down that Wenger route. So.
I get where you're coming from, because the report from James Pearce today was the players they haven't stopped listening, isn't lost the dressing room, but they just don't feel they're capable anymore for one reason or another of doing what he's asking, like physically able to do it. The fact that he must know this and yet he's continued to play the way he does, I can understand why that's infuriating people.
Martin, he's saying that. Sorry, Tay. He's saying that, and then on top of that, he's also telling us we don't need a midfielder. So that's what makes it worse. That's what makes it even worse when I'm just looking like, all right, well, we've got a situation. You haven't even brought in a stopgap. You've looked and you've brought in another forward. And I was on here last time with Halfway. We were actually debating it, and I said, Gakpo, I don't understand the signing. Pep Linders has spoke about him being the missing link. The missing link to what? Like, we're conceding chances in the middle of the park. We're too easy to play against. Where's the tactical change from that? Nowhere. Are there any signings coming in? No, they're not. If there's no changes, for me, this can't carry on, because you end up in a situation where Arsenal were at, or even Man United, where you just slump down the table, and then what happens then? Yes.
I hear you on that. I do hear you on that. So I just want to say here, just on the Chelsea news, sorry, just back to it. Ben Jacobs has confirmed that Potter pushed for Felix. I read the extract from Ben. He said, and this, I mean, kind of coincides with what a lot of us thought earlier. Felix was open to joining Chelsea. Chelsea had backed away from his signing, but reprioritized him again in the past 48 hours after the 2 losses to Man City. And this was obviously pushed by Graham Potter. So that's why I think, again, this is what, in terms of the news, when maybe 3 days ago the news was saying Arsenal leading the way, they probably were, and they were moving towards getting it done. But this is why I say to people, don't have a go at journalists per se, because no journalist that wrote them articles controlled Chelsea changing their minds. And Chelsea changed their minds, and the scenario is very, very different. So that's been confirmed by Ben J. He put that out a couple of hours ago, to be fair. So I didn't actually see that myself, but that's now been confirmed by him. We have another super chat that's come in here that said Mudryk publicly said no to Chelsea today. On the Mudryk deal, now the Mudryk deal is reportedly close, and it's been reportedly close for a while, but has kind of stalled because of Chelsea. From your point of view, Gunnar Lee, you're in a brilliant position at the top of the league. You're playing very, very well. A lot of Arsenal fans think, though, a new player is needed, or at least one, maybe two, to try and secure this title. Are you happy with the window so far in terms of not getting Felix? Do you think you'll get this deal done and over the line? And do you think the Cronkies will invest enough to see you win your first Premier League title in 18 years?
Listen, I'm very, very certain that we're going to get at least one player. The Cronkies, since they've got full ownership, have backed most managers, and they've kind of put a lot of money into the team and into the club since 2018. It's all there on record. You can see it there. They've said it, and they've shown that they actually do and are kind of like saying doing what they say. For me, I think we need to get one, and I think we will get one. We're in such a good position. The owners know, and they back Arteta. Like, Arteta's got them eating out of the palm of his hand. And if you look at the other franchises that they've got, especially the LA Rams, when they won the Super Bowl last season, they were in a really, really good position. And what did they go out and do before the trade deadline? They got OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., to come in as a wide receiver, and they also got Von Miller from the Denver Broncos, and they actually gave up their picks. Now, if anyone watches NFL, it's all about picks. It's all about basically getting the newest and hottest prospect. And they traded all their picks to get Von Miller to win their championship. So I don't think they're going to go throughout this whole January without actually getting a player. It's maybe a little bit annoying that they're trying to battle so hard for the fee, but equally, no one on this panel, even in the position we are going to say spend £100 million or 100 million euros, whatever it is, on a player that's played 31 games for his current team. I think that's farcical. And do you know what? I'll probably go as far as saying I don't even think Todd Bowley would do that. I don't think Todd Bowley would spend 100 million euros on a player that's played 31 times for his current team. And it's not, again, it's not even a slander. It is what it is. I just think for where we are right now, we're still doing pretty well. We're still 5 points clear. We still have to come to the to Man City, and we still have to play Man City at our ground. I'm very, very happy and certain that we're going to beat them at home, because I think we're at home and we've got a very good record. Patrick, you know, I've been saying it on our show on a Monday. Listen, I'm very certain that we're going to beat them. I don't see what they have that is that scary. I really don't. And yeah, for me, look,
just some Norwegian robot.
No, you're right, and you got to remember, right? There's that Norwegian robot, and he scored 21 goals, and we're still 5 points clear, and we're still only 3 goals behind him in terms of goal difference. We're not doing too bad ourselves.
You're doing brilliant.
I can't. No one can begrudge me for maybe sticking my chest out a bit. No one can begrudge me for giving you stats. No one.
Are you winning the title? Are you winning the title this season?
Do you know what I will say? If we had got the two players in, I think if we had got the two players in, I would have said 100% yes. I would have said that, and that was Felix and that was Mudryk, because I just think that.
Do you think that Mudryk deal is going to get done? Because the longer I know we're still early on, but because there's been talk about him for so long, and that means you guys have been negotiating since the summer, probably. Like it's been going on for so long now, and you still haven't got it over the line.
Yeah,
do you know what? What happens if you don't?
If we don't get him, oh no, we're not winning the league. We're definitely not winning the league, because you know what? It's hard, because even Man United, I looked at their fixtures. I think they've got Crystal Palace.
We've got 3 games a week until the end of the season.
Literally until the end of the season. And I was looking at Arsenal fixtures as well, and like it doesn't get any easier. So I just think yes, we're in a really good position, and yes, we're shattering the mold. But I just think it's hard. So going back to your question, Jerry. Do I think that we're going to actually get him? I have to say yes, because I just don't think the Cronkies are going to. I don't think the Cronkies are going to go and not get this guy who's literally been begging. He's been liking posts about him being locked up. There's been a bit of rumor about the reason why he hasn't handed in a transfer request, because in Ukraine and the war. And I mean, I don't know how true that is. I don't know if I actually believe that, but yeah, man, I really do think that the owners know that we're in such an advantageous position at this moment in time that we have to get back. I don't think that we have the Spurs owners or kind of current board where even in a really good position, they're going to go and get Vincent Janssen, or they're going to go and get
Vincent Janssen wasn't in a good position. Don't rewrite history.
Listen, man, I don't think we're going to do that, man. I think we're going to add one. And as I said, the manager gets what he wants. The guy's had 9 lives, and he's still here fighting, and he's showing the credible manager that he is. No one can take that away from Arsenal. And if we don't get anybody, unfortunately, we're not going to win the title. It's just not going to happen. But what I will say is that we would have shattered a lot of molds, but it's ultimately not going to be good enough, because we would have been top all season. And I mean, everyone's. I think earlier on in the conversation, you guys were talking about Potter and comparing him to Arteta. Listen, I love Arteta, but he hasn't won anything, so you can't compare him to Arteta because he hasn't actually won anything yet of significance, I should say. So yeah.
Well done. I hope you're listening, and I hope you hear that, because Agal the other day tried to tell me that Arteta was now better than Comte, and I was like,
no, I do believe that as well. I do believe that.
Right now, on current form, yeah, but as a manager, someone that he's not. Come on, but Conte has won league titles in England and in Italy, and obviously has done it time and time again.
You're right. And Klopp was four. Well, he was about 2 weeks away from winning the quadruple, and now you've got Jerry saying he wants him out. So we can't keep doing this backwards and forwards. Sometimes you just have to look at a manager and say, do you know what? His prime was there, and maybe he's not that great anymore.
But my point isn't that Klopp's done as a manager. If you keep having the same narrative, being in the same kind of same tactics and the same kind of voice being heard over and over again, it becomes stale. Now, I'm saying Klopp has gone stale at Liverpool. That's not to say you can't go somewhere else, even to a national team, and be successful as well. I'm not saying that at all. He's an amazing manager. Yeah. But Conte's Arteta has not proven that he's on the level of a Conte though. So you can't put him on the level. The same way you said you can't put Potter on the level of Arteta because he hasn't won anything of note. You can't put Arteta on the level of Conte because Conte's won way more than he's done way more as a manager.
Look, if you're asking me right
Arteta.
now, moving forward, who I think the better manager is, maybe I heard the question incorrectly, but if you're asking me right now who I believe is the better manager and moving forward, who's going to be the better manager, 100%, I believe Arteta is the better manager.
Until he wins something, until he wins the league,
He's got to
it's a
win
bit.
something.
It's
Gotta
too.
win
Yeah,
something.
it's too. It's
But by the way,
too early.
we need to stop saying that. He has won something. You mean the big trophies, because he has won something.
Well, yeah, like something, because Conte's won league titles. So to compare him to a Conte
From
right now, and it's
two
not you
different
that did it.
countries, yeah.
So I know you're kind of catching us straight, but because you're an Arsenal fan, obviously, I just asked you the same question. But no, you can't say he's better going forward, because you lot might finish second or third, and then what? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Would you still say?
and that's fine, but I would still individually, because it's all about circumstances. Everybody needs to remember us. Like, no 2 seasons are ever the same. Last season we were 5th, the season before that we were 8th, and now we are currently 1st. So we can't keep doing this revisionist history. Right now, if you're asking me who's getting the best out of their players, who's got the better IQ, who understands the game, in my opinion, a little bit more and is a little bit more in vogue, I'm going to say the manager who manages Arsenal. If you look at what Tottenham and what Conte's doing, for me, I don't think there's any complexity. It's all very simplistic. I was at that North London derby. He did 3 at the back, and it's so basic. You look at what Ten Hag has done. I've got egg on my face because I have to take whatever Nix has said and say, look, the guy has come in and he's making moves, he's making changes, and the changes he's making are really effective in the way that they're playing. And not only has he brought in a quality player or quality players, but he's also changing the style and changing the process and changing the mentality. When I look at Conte, he was very lucky to get top 4. And I know, okay, fine, injuries.
No, he wasn't lucky. No, he wasn't. And the thing is,
look, I don't want to go
into
but then this season, it's always an excuse. In my opinion, there's always some sort of excuse as to why he gets away with it. If he starts moaning on the touchline, if he starts shouting on the touchline, it's passion. If Arteta does it, oh, he's this, he's a whiny guy, he's this and that, he's a Lego head. If Arteta comes up with something different and unique, if he comes up with something different and unique, there's a little bit of, oh, well, he's copying it from Pep. Well, no, he's not. He's using what he's got as his tools and he's adapting to it. If Conte does it, oh, it's because he's been doing it for years and it works. You know, there's always some excuse and there's always something. But at the end of the day, I'm really, really happy with my manager. I don't want Conte. I would never want Conte. And the same way how every single Man United fan would say, look, he's a great manager, but you didn't want him. Why? Why didn't you want him? Because you know that he's not that guy. It's that simple. I don't get why Arsenal fans are made to look
mad to say that Conte isn't that guy. Conte is that guy.
We have to wait until the end of the season. Why are we judging things by now? Let's wait until the end of the season.
Conte is a guy, but it depends what you want. Now, for what Man United needed and what Arsenal needed in terms of rebuilding, and it's going to take a number of years, I never wanted Conte. And people looked at me mad. Like, and when Gary Neville said it, people were like, all the people in the studio, what are you talking about? Conte is this. And it's like, and now we're seeing, I'm not saying, for me, Conte is better than Arteta, because we've like, he's got, put your medals on the table. He's better than Ten Hag, put your medals on the table. But for what we needed, I don't want Conte, because Conte.
Okay. So what? Are you saying Arteta is better than Ten Hag? Then is that what you're saying?
1 second, Goonally, 1 second. After 2 years, especially with our board, Conte's throwing his toys at the pram, wants to leave, and we're starting from scratch again. So I think he's better than Ten Hag. I think he's better than Arteta, but he was never right for Man United, and I don't think he went for Arsenal.
That makes sense.
I've got a super chat here that's to Gunnar Lee. This is for the Arsenal fan. Where does Arteta rank currently, in your opinion, for managers in the world? Like, where would you rank him in the world right now?
I'm not going to do the world, because there's so many. I think it's disingenuous in the Premier League.
Let's say Premier League or Europe, yeah, because we obviously all watch that.
Yeah. In the Premier League, 100%. I'm going to say he's the 3rd best manager. I still think Klopp's a very good manager. I just think he's got that bit of Arsene Wenger syndrome about him. I don't know if that's what you want to call it. I definitely do think, for me, that he's the 3rd best manager in the league. I would obviously put someone like Carlo on top of him. I do like the manager of Napoli. I can't remember his name. It's popped out of my head now.
What also got Spalletti?
Spalletti, sorry, yeah. I think he's a very good manager, and just out of probably nostalgia, I've always got a soft spot for Mourinho. I just think he's a top manager. Maybe not anymore. I know he's not the same guy. I understand that, but I've always got something where I think he can cause havoc and he can do something really, really good with a top team. But that's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right, but. Yeah, I do think there are some really good managers out there, but Arteta is really, really good as well, equally, and he's showing it. He's showing it week in and week out. Everyone said that when we were playing the first test, we beat them. When we got to December, we got through that. When we came from after December, we're still getting through that. When we lose Jesus, we're currently still doing okay. Like, I don't know how many more things that you
forget that's whole irrelevance. That's whole irrelevance. It's a 38 game season. So let us see how the season ends. It's all good, doing good right now. What happens when you go through, like, you lose through 3 games back to back? You go through a tough rut. You can't just be like, Arteta, he's the best, the second coming. As of right now, so far, so good. So far, so good. This is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And you can only truly judge a manager at the end of the season. So come the end of the season, after 38 games, not 15, 100%. Not 16, not 20, after 38 games, where are you? Because if Arsenal finish second, wow, well done. You get third or fourth, pretty good. If you win, egg on my face. If you win this title, so
yeah, 100%, and I mean, obviously, you would say that as well because you're in the mud right now, so you have to wait that 38 games. I don't know.
But the thing though is that we actually have won a major title much more recently than you.
No, you have.
How long has it been? How long has it been since you won like a league or a UCL? Oh, you've never won a UCL. Henry dropped a disaster class in 06, didn't he? It was a disaster class. Damn it!
It's been so long that in 2 universes ago, I still had hair. That's how long ago it is. But I will say that, listen, man, Arsenal, if we do win the league, you think Argentina had those great celebrations? You think You think Tunisia, Morocco were taking over Edgware Road. Listen, you don't want to see Arsenal win the league, man, because you'll be back to Arsenal, bro.
But it ain't happening, bro.
We had a question that came through that says, sorry, I did star it. I must have unstarred it. It asked, who's been the best manager in the league so far this season? That was a question from one of our viewers. Who's been the best manager in the league so far this season? Pound for pound, of course.
Eddie Howe.
That is hating, man.
Easy, Eddie Howe.
You can't. Eddie Howe. You got to remember that.
You're a hater, man. You're a hater.
We all act like Arteta's summer mate. Arteta's a good manager, but he's not performed miracles with breadcrumbs. He has been backed. He's been backed in the sense of the amount of money they spent. He's been backed in the sense of when he wanted big players like Aubameyang out, he got them out. Some managers don't have that authority to flex their muscles both ways. So look what Eddie Howe's done in a shorter tenure with less cash. Yes, Newcastle are a cash-rich club, we get it. But if you look at the players that Arteta's got compared to the players that Eddie Howe's got at his disposal, there's no comparison.
Can I just say one point to just rebuttal all of this? Before the season started, I was on the stream with you, Terry, with you, Neeks, and a couple of podcasters and obviously YouTubers, and nobody had us in the top 4. No one. No.
Come on.
Terry did. No, let me just finish.
No. I need to correct you. Got the date with the show, but 100% fact. You can go on my Twitter as well. I don't know if I've pinned that actually. I think my Pele tweet's pinned, but I've got all my predictions at the start of the season. And I had Arsenal 4th. Granted, I had Tottenham 3rd, but I had Arsenal 4th. Fact.
Okay, fine. But you did, at this moment in time, at maybe that time, you didn't have us 4th. Yeah? So you didn't have us in the top 4. Okay, fine, not a problem. But what I am trying to say is, we've gone past Man City, who everybody had to be the first team, the number 1 team. Liverpool to probably be second or /1st. We've also gone past Chelsea, who have spent £270 million and are going to probably spend another £200 million. You've gone past the dark horses. People need to remember this. The dark horses who were going to be Spurs. We've gone past them as well. So then the last team is Man United, who have spent the amount of money that they've spent. And obviously they've been backed by the Glazers. So I just have to think sometimes, yes, Arteta's been backed over the last 3 seasons, spending £60 million. But if you actually have to think about what we have done in a short space of time, firstly, and what we've gone past.
It's not better than Eddie Howe.
Eddie
not better
Howe was
than
in a
Eddie Howe.
relegation battle when he took over, a legit, genuine relegation battle.
And
that was 12 months ago.
But the players weren't. But anyone can go in a relegation battle if they're not playing well. Liverpool are not playing well. Chelsea are not playing well. Chelsea are not a 10th place team. So what I'm saying is Newcastle were playing very, very poor at that moment in time, but their players weren't as bad as what.
I got to back Lee with this, man. I mean, you're looking at the stats. Arsenal have got what? 14 wins and 2 draws and 1 loss. Yeah, Newcastle have done well, but they've got 9 draws.
Bro, that is hate.
But look at the players that he's having to do.
Yeah, that's it.
I can't do that.
Oh, so now he's 1 minute.
Regardless on how much money, but listen, regardless on how much money has been spent or not spent by a manager, yeah. How many managers have actually spent the money and they're not delivered? Look at the trajectory he's gone and taken Arsenal. You can't. That's
No. But Jerry, the question was who is the best manager? And for me, in my view, is the keyword management. 100%. What Arteta is done is amazing. That's why I'll say he's second best. But to Patrick's point is, I think quality management is what do you have and what can you achieve with what you have. The fact is, what Eddie Howe has achieved with the ingredients that he has, for me, is better than any manager. Because remember, this is pound for pound. So pound for pound, who has been the best manager? Based on what Eddie Howe has and the tools to his disposal, he's performed better. Odegaard came from Real Madrid. Odegaard came from Real Madrid. Martinelli is a Brazilian international.
So 8 draws, right? 8 draws, right? With that stat line,
in all the years before this season, they were all in the bottom half. 12, 13, 14, fighting really before.
I know, but I'm saying, but with that stat line,
before Eddie Howe
I know it's mad to say, and look, Newcastle have been superb. I'm not taking that away from them, but with that stat line with 8 draws in seasons gone past, you're not getting anywhere with that. You're not getting anywhere with 8 draws like that. Because think about it, Liverpool are shocking, Chelsea are shocking, but with Arsenal, they've won. They've won 14 games.
How much money has Newcastle spent? Newcastle spent.
Yeah, I would say this.
Liverpool levels. They've lost 1 game, drawn 2.
It's a fair argument between the two of them. For me, top 3, I would go with Arteta number 1 because they've broken records. Even Wenger didn't have never had this many points after this amount of games. I'd go Eddie Howe number 2 because I think they're punching well above their weight this early. And number 3, I would go with Ten Hag because most people said no way near top 4. Some didn't even say top half the table. And after the start that he had and all the problems he's had this season, because we've all seen, right? And even Arteta that we're saying the best so far this year. Look how long it took him to like clear problems up and get things working. This guy's had the Ronaldo issue, the Maguire issue. This guy even had to drop his most informed player recently for like making a mistake. But the response to that has been brilliant. So for me, top 3 would be Arteta, Eddie Howe, Ten Hag, halfway through the season. By the end of the campaign, let's wait and see where everyone finishes in the trophies that are won. Because, suddenly if Ten Hag finishes a second and wins 2 trophies, you might be talking about him being the best because trophies are the only commodity that our football clubs deal in. Well, 5 of our clubs. Do you know what I mean? And but listen, Arteta's done brilliantly this year, and I don't think it can be denied.
Potter's the worst manager in the top 7, though, isn't it? We can agree that.
I mean,
it's tough.
If I was to ask you the question, the most underperforming manager this year, for me, it's a toss-up between Antonio Conte and Pep.
Yeah. Oh, Pep. No.
Pound for pound, it's got to be. I mean, David Moyes is in the conversation because they've dropped.
Klopp?
In the league or the top 6? In the league or the top 6?
Klopp said
top 6 managers.
Oh, okay.
Klopp said at the start of the season. What? Hold on, no. So let me even go a bit further back. End of last season, he said, "Book your tickets
to Istanbul."
He then said, at the start of the season, we've got the best keeper, we've got the best right back, and he went through the whole team saying we have the best players in those positions. So if that's the case, he's of course undoubtedly number 1. Number 1, he is the biggest flop.
Yeah, definitely.
Jerry agrees. Jerry wants him sacked. So
it's Klopp.
I've got some super chats here. First one says there's a difference between being a coach and a manager from Olu. That's very, very true.
Yeah.
But we still have to respect the process rather than having the luxury to dismiss Arsenal based on each shifting criteria, evaluating each week. In fairness, it was a question by a viewer instead of us. We didn't really shift anything. Comte uses a dated recruitment strategy that is running dry. Managers who run club projects are on the rise. Seal, Terrace, Scare Me videos. Yeah, my Scare Me videos are doing all right, to be fair. And new editions out soon. A new episode out soon called Scared Yet. So keep your eyes out for that. King Cantona says, we are calling Joe Linton and Almiron dead footballers 12 months ago. How is a manager of the season? And that's a great argument, but you could also look at what Xhaka's doing, because Xhaka was getting DMs from Arsenal fans wishing cancer on his wife. He was that bad at the club. Like, to turn it around now to be loved by those fans, that's a massive turnaround.
Can we not also forget every single person probably on the stream? Why are we getting Ramsdale for 30 million from Bournemouth? Sheffield United, sorry, and he paid for real Bournemouth. You got them relegated. Why are we spending 50 million pounds on Ben White? Why? Who's Tommy Yassi? What's going on with the situation with Saliba?
Yeah,
let's hope he don't fall off. Let's hope Liverpool doesn't fall off, man.
But don't forget that's money spent. Eddie Howe hasn't spent that sort of cash.
He spent 200 million. Why are we making this?
They have spent 200 million pounds.
Why are we making this? This is crazy.
They have spent 200 mil. Man said Potter is a kid in a candy shop filled with all those disgusting jelly bean flavors. That's funny. Defensive managers are not in style right now, is what Guna Dan says. Arteta over Eddie Howe. That is down to preference, is what Yang has got to say here. And Arteta, I don't know what Lucho Diego Simeone. Yeah. I mean, he plays better football than Diego Simeone. There we go. Question for Jerry. Jerry, who are you replacing Jurgen Klopp with?
Jerry.
Hansi Flick, Tuchel, Luis Enrique. Change. Something different, a different voice. If these players, listen, if these players, as Klopp said and as Lee said, if these players are the best in their position, like what 80, 90% of the team are top 3 in their position in the world, if that's what we're saying, then a top manager can come in and go and make a change. Right now, we don't need a manager going through a transition and rebuilding a team and it taking another 5 years for us to win a league. Like the likes of Virgil, Fabinho, do you know what I mean? Henderson, Trent, they're going to be much, much older. That project's going to Salah. They're all going to be gone. You need a player you need a manager that's going to come in and it's going to win now. That's the whole thing. So yes, part of it is the board, but I just need a change. Anyone.
I hear you on that. This says Arteta has taken the youngest team to the top.
For now.
Christine says.
Yeah, and can he keep them there? I was about to say the same thing. I don't want to sound salty, but can he keep them there? That's what we want to see.
It's all if. Why can't you just look the same way how? Hold on. The same way how Have Hope has just said you can't look until it's over 38 games. You can only look what he has done right now. We can't prophesize. We can't keep saying back and forth. We have to look at what he's done right now. And right now, he's done what he's done with the team that he has. And nobody can take that away from him. So right now, currently, unfortunately, we are, I think, 12 points or 10 points ahead of Newcastle as well. He's the best manager in the league. It is what it is.
This here says Arsenal's second best XG, best XG against, best playing style as well. Martin here says an ESPN journo said Todd Boehly will spend 1.75 billion on infrastructure, including players, because of the purchase deal at Chelsea. Yeah, I do keep saying this to people. Stop saying Chelsea FFP. These billionaires and their accountants are not that dumb. If they do mess it up and Chelsea gets sanctioned, then I'll eat my hat. I legitimately eat it on camera. Who do you think will be the future manager club fight? Listen, Man United and Arsenal, I think are going to... City aren't going anywhere, by the way. There's a big report this afternoon from Bloomberg that Qatar are looking to either fully take over Man United or Liverpool. But both of them clubs are going to get massive investment soon. They're going to be back. Arsenal are going to be around for a while as well. And I still think Todd Boehly and Chelsea are going to build something. I actually think we could end up being like the 70s and 80s where any one of 4 or 5 teams could win it. And who knows with Tottenham, maybe them as well. Newcastle as well with their money. It's going to be crazy. I'm just talking money here that everyone's going to have. It's okay. Chelsea have no midfielders, so no worries, is what's been said. In other news today, I know everyone wants to have an opinion on this, but Weghorst to Manchester United is legitimately close. There's no cap there. They're just waiting for Batiskas to say yes to the offer, but the manager wants him. The manager's met him. The manager spoke to him face to face. Burnley have accepted the offers. The player has agreed personal terms. It looks like he's going to become the Man United number 9. But what has been reported is that a out-and-out number 9 is wanted by the club. This is a stopgap signing until the summer, where the club will go in hard for Osimhen or Harry Kane, is who Man United are going to look at in the summer to bring in. They believe that United will be a very attractive place for Harry Kane by the summer with our progression. But this is a stopgap in Weghorst, Harry Kane potentially in the summer. What are you saying, Neeks?
I'm not gonna do what some Man United fans have done and try and get signing in any way, because I'll go on, Lee. You want to say something?
Listen, guys, I have to make a move. But listen, man, big up to
same as
everybody.
well.
All right, bro. Take care, my guy.
Appreciate it, man. In a bit, man. Cheers.
All right, mate. Bye.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do what some Man United fans have done and try to gas up this signing. And obviously, things are good for Man United right now, so we don't want too much negativity around the place. But as much as Ten Hag signings have been successful, so I'll trust that this one will fit in. He's not going to sign someone who he doesn't think can actually fit in, whether it's his first or his fifth choice. But I think this is closer to fifth choice than it is his first choice. We know we wanted Gakpo. We know we wanted Felix. We're going for Wout Weghorst. I'm not gonna slander him. He's a decent player. From even when he's at Burnley, you can see he's a decent footballer. Even for his height, you think he's just there as a battering ram, but he's decent on the ball technically. He was effective as a battering ram or in the air when he was playing for Netherlands. So he's got different facets to his game that can benefit us in terms of something different that Martial and maybe Rashford don't offer when they play through the middle. But he's clearly not first, second choice, because we would be looking to buy him.
Nick, just be honest. Be honest here. Be real here. Or what? Weghorst. Stop trying to. Just be real.
It's not someone I'm happy about. I don't think he moves the needle at all. We don't sign him for me, and I say yes. Now we're definitely getting top 4. Or Europa League is ours. No, it doesn't do that for me. It's a body. It's a body in a packed season. Maybe Martial won't get injured because he doesn't have to play as much. That's literally the only benefit I'm seeing. When you're gonna throw him on, when instead of putting Maguire up top, you can throw Wout Weghorst on. Like, that's kind of what we're dealing with here. So for me, it's not a sign to get excited about. It's literally a body. I think we need more than that. He's not moving the needle at all. But if somehow we get through the season by signing him and still finishing in the top 4 or winning a trophy or whatever, then you say, cool, we got away with it. Now it just means in the summer, as you mentioned, Harry Kane, Osimhen, Sesko. I want Harry Kane. I don't care what he's won.
How are you going to get him? How are you going to get Kane from Tottenham? With Levy there.
He's got a year
easy. Listen, I honestly, that I was annoyed about this deal. As in, I wasn't angry. I understand why it's happening. There is Glazonomics at play, and look, first of all, I don't like Man United fans that defend the Glazers by saying our number 1 target's unavailable. You might have to pay over the odds for them in January. Listen, if Man United hadn't hemorrhaged money on failed projects, and if the club hadn't taken 1.1 billion out of our club in the past decade on loan payments and dividends, you could walk into Tottenham right now and go, there's 120 million, give us Kane. You could walk into any club in the world and buy. There's no such thing in football as not for sale. There is not for sale at that price. You can buy anyone at any point, at any moment, if you have enough money. Man United don't need sugar daddies pumping money into us. We are self-sufficient. We just hemorrhage and waste so much. So I don't buy into. For me, I'm not one-dimensional in my view. We haven't got the money to get Xisco or Kane or Osimhen now. We have to settle Terrace. It's not our fault. Well, it is our fault we don't have the money. Bad management of the club for 17 years. But Harry Kane in the summer legitimately gets my juices flowing, because I truly believe if Man United signed Harry Kane today, we would win the league. With how well we're playing and the level of this football player and the quality he would suddenly have around him, we would win the league, because he would win us 12, 13, 14 points by himself. He's that good a striker. He's done it for Tottenham every single season for the past 7 or 8 years. World-class strikers and goal scorers win you that amount of points. We've got one of the best DMs in the world. We've got Rashford in form. You've got Bruno Fernandes there. If you actually look at Man United from the second, after those first 2 defeats, where the manager said, right, now we're playing my way, we've only been 3 points worse off since then than Arsenal. since
No,
so Man United for almost half the season have been at this level. So for me, if we get someone like Weghorst now, I think he'll help us get top 4, but we're not going to do any better than that, in my opinion. But as long as we're not settling for a player like this in the long term, I can live with it. I can legitimately live with it. And people can say, clip me. You can't disprove me because we're not going to sign Harry Kane now. I truly believe Harry Kane will score in the Premier League for Tottenham and easily another 12 to 15 goals this season. You stick 12 to 15
he's on 15 already.
Yeah, you stick that in the Man United team with the way we play football. Man United could conceivably win the league. That's how good he is.
Okay, so you're saying that. So this is just sort of like if he was to come, but you don't believe there's any actual realistic notion of United getting
not in January, but in the summer. This is what's going to happen come the summer. So if Manchester United,
summer.
So if Man United continue to grow under Ten Hag, which I believe they will, plus we will have new owners or huge investment. So the debt will be largely paid off, or there'll be a massive lump sum of cash, but very likely to be full new owners by the summer. Playing better football, Ten Hag here, feel good factor at the club, new owners. Where's Harry Kane and Tottenham going to be? Tottenham may not even be in the top 4. He'll have 1 year left on his deal, and he ain't winning trophies there, in my opinion. Man United suddenly becomes a realistic and attractive place for him to go. There are other clubs that might try and sign him too. So Liverpool may go in for him with their new owners, but they've got Darwin, they've just signed Gakpo, unlikely. I doubt he'd go Chelsea because of his allegiances to Tottenham. He isn't going Arsenal. Man City have Haaland. He doesn't want to leave the UK. Man United becomes a place where a year ago, there's no way he's joining. We're not on the road to winning anything. But that can change come the summer. Now, for Man United to secure that, we've got to keep growing. We've got to keep getting better. We've got to land these new owners. But there is this thing here where our manager wants, and he's looked at a number of them in the summer and now, he wants an out-and-out number 9. That is what he wants to base his style of football.
But he also wants one. He wants one, and I don't think he would turn down a Haaland if it was available. But he wants one who can also link the play. He spoke about the profile of someone like Anthony Martial. Yes, but Martial don't score enough goals. So you want someone who can hold up the ball, link the play, and score goals. Harry Kane in the world at that. There's no better striker in the world at doing those 3 things: holding up the ball, linking the play, and scoring goals. We might have a better goal scorer out there. You might have a better false 9 out there. Harry Kane does both. And people are talking about, he's going to be 29, he's going to be 30, whatever. Rashford's 25, Garnacho's 18, Sancho's 22. I think Anthony's 22 as well. Like, we want to throw in a 19-year-old Sesko into that as well. Like, are we trying to win, or are we trying to win in 5 years? Like, yes, those are good players, but you get a 30-year-old striker around that young hub of attackers. I think it's perfect.
Neeks, I'm not going to lie to you. That scares me. It reminds me of the RVP signing.
Yeah.
You go and sign a player like that. I mean, injuries the season before, you weren't that great. You were in for him before, weren't too sure, didn't really go in for him. You get him now, and then he goes, boom, pops off, and then what?
Yeah, but can they win the league with Pep in it, though? So as long as Pep is still in this league, Harry Kane isn't enough.
Yeah, I mean, we say that, but obviously we don't know this season. But if Arsenal win this season, or if they were to win, then that's 100% a possibility. And I mean, it means they're definitely strong contenders. And the type of game he plays, he doesn't need to be. They've got Martial and Rashford that can go and make the runs in behind. His game's not really going to change from now for the next 2 or 3 seasons.
Do you know what this, right? I get Harry Kane is labelled as a serial bottler because he's at Tottenham. But that's because Harry Kane has gone through at Tottenham what Wayne Rooney went through with England. It's all on you. You have to be the guy to deliver because nobody else is going to do it. That isn't how Man United operate when we're playing well. There are multiple match winners in this Man United team now. You've got, of course, David De Gea in goal, as an example. Varane at the back, and, of course, World Cup winning centre-back in Lisandro Martinez. You've got Casemiro in this team, who is an out-and-out winner, as an example. And when it comes to the attack, I think Harry Kane would thrive being back in a team that's looking to play progressive football. So, look, is it a shoe-in? Is it a done deal? No. And we are looking at Benjamin Šeško. We are looking at your favourite player, Osimhen, as well. I think is that how you pronounce it, Osimhen?
No, Osimhen.
Osimhen. Okay, cool. I've heard about 10 different pronunciations. Let's just say Victor to be on the safe side. But, like, United are linked to a number of those players. For me, I understand the longevity of a 22, 23, 24-year-old. Equally, if you get Harry Kane for 100 million and get 5 years out of him, 5 years at Man United, he's going to score you 125 goals. And that is going to go a long way to winning you trophies. And with Haaland at City, that's going to be scoring. Arsenal looking like they're just going to keep getting better and better. And listen, don't look beyond the Sakas and the Martinellis becoming more and more prolific in front of goal. And they're probably going to add. I still think Arsenal might add another goal scorer at some point to work around Gabriel Jesus, who isn't prolific. Don't look beyond that. But yeah, look, I'm not excited about this deal massively. But I'm more excited about what we're trying to create and do. And I think a proper number again, we know how Ten Hag plays. Look at what he did with Sebastian Haller. That's what I'm hoping for, by the way. I'm hoping Weghorst does a Sebastian Haller, comes into a better team and goes to another level. But yeah, it looks United are going to get this deal done. And I know it's one of those weird ones. I'm seeing some fans try and twist it into a great piece of business. And I'm somewhere in the middle where I think...
But the whole thing about this stuff, though, is that... real quick, is that things have changed now. You see, back in the 90s, 2000s, a striker's currency was goals. If you didn't score, you pretty much failed. In 2023, that's different now. So if Weghorst comes, it's not about, did he get 15 goals, whatever I say. No, did he provide for Rashford? Did he provide for Garnacho? Did he provide for Bruno? So right now, look, Giroud didn't score a single goal in 2018, but he was crucial in providing a basis for Griezmann, Mbappe, and so forth. So for Weghorst, it's not really about judging him by how many goals he scores. It's does he make other guys better? Because that's why I always say that I'm not a fan of the false nine. Because I'm old school. Have a striker there. If he scores, cool. But you need that presence there to occupy defenders and to be a decoy to allow these other attacking players to now pretty much come in and say, what's up now? So that's pretty much the issue. And it's almost like it's sort of the problem that Liverpool are sort of running into now, because Darwin he's not scoring enough goals, and also he's not really playing as that old school striker. And Firmino
back to goal,
was the kind of guy who was like, okay, it's not about the goals, but Firmino can drop in, pop into the pocket, into the pocket. So either you have a striker who gets the goals or is able to facilitate the guys around them.
Harry Kane, and that's why Harry Kane is different from those guys, because he is, as a football player, for me, only Benzema chats to him as a number 9. As a technical footballer on the ball, Harry Kane is elite. He's a brilliant...
Over Lewandowski?
Oh, Lewandowski as well. Yeah, sorry, Lewandowski as well.
No, but Lewandowski can't pass like Harry Kane. He can't.
No, he hasn't got the passing range. Technically on the ball, he's good, but Harry Kane can do both. And interestingly, I said 100 million for him. I was just throwing that number out top of my head. His current market value is 80 million pounds. When he has 1 year remaining on his contract, that's going to drop it. I reckon you could get him 50 million pounds, and I was
thinking 70 personally.
Yeah, but anything up to about 70 to 80, I'm actually comfortable with, because he'll pay that back with his goals. Harry Kane, if he scores for Tottenham and Antonio Conte, he's scoring for Man United. He's gonna do it, and yeah, I'm very intrigued to see what we do moving forward. But this is the madness and speed of football, because 6 months ago, I couldn't imagine a player like him even being linked to us. You fast forward, and suddenly there's genuine hope and options. And as JJ said, it is a scary thought for rivals to think about United getting a player like that again. And I did say someone did actually comment the other day about United just can't expect to attract top talent anymore. When was the last time we attracted like a genuine top class player? I didn't even respond, because I just thought, how are you ignoring Casemiro? Like it doesn't even make sense. Like it happened in the summer when we were crap. So yeah, it's going to be an intriguing one indeed. Here, this is Terry. Have you heard of a Jadon Sancho? I hear he's currently having trials at Man United. I like the Weghorst signing if done. Modern day RV Ruud van Nistelrooy. I think he's different from a Ruud van Nistelrooy. Ruud van Nistelrooy was off the shoulder goal poacher, finisher, not a target man, as it were. Jadon Sancho is an interesting one, guys. I did want to get your opinions on this, because he's been training in the mountains with Kung Fu Panda, and he's back now. Do you think he's going to turn his career around at Man United, or do you think that's kind of it? Do you think he's done out here?
You see, for me, I think everybody deserves a chance. We don't know how he is, because my thing is, we can't answer that unless we know him intimately. So if you know someone's character, you can like, nah, I'll back him, because I know that he's got a strong personality, massive mental fortitude, and I know that he knows how to beat obstacles. Because say what you want about Cristiano, I may not be a fan of him as a player. He's got a strong mentality. So any obstacles that come forth, he'll see it through. Same thing with Ibrahimovic, strong, powerful personality. Everyone throws maybe Mbappe. So my thing for Sancho is we just don't know how strong his character is. So this is going to be a test of your character. Like, are you able? Because it's not about talent now, bro. Ever since Dublin, I know this guy is an extremely talented player. Talent is 20%. Talent is 20% of you as a professional. The other 80% is your application, your personality, your character, your training, your hard work, and how you can apply that talent. So the question right now is, who is Sancho? Who is Jadon Sancho? Are you a guy with a strong character that can be resolute and bounce back? Or are you, I mean, weak is too strong a word to say, or are you not, does not have as strong as a mentality, which means that it's maybe tricky for him to now go back to his best. It's just about who he is as a person.
I don't know. Like with Sancho, for me, I can't see it because of the way in which obviously Rashford's playing now. You've got Garnacho coming through. Obviously, you've got Anthony as well that you've brought in. I can't see him. He's not a type of player that necessarily fits into the Premier League. He's not. I think what we've seen is that the types of wingers that have succeeded in the Premier League are very rapid and fast, or their output is very, very high in terms of the assist. If you look at like whoever, I mean, a Riyad Mahrez, but even then he's very, very rapid. Then output needs to be high. He doesn't do both. For me, he suits that kind of number 10 position a bit more, especially in the Premier League. I think the game's a bit too fast. I just don't see. He's not very athletic, and I don't see him really working out. I mean, he could come in and look. You never know the way Ten Hag's galvanizing the team. He could come in and kind of revitalize his career, but I just don't see it. And I think that price tag is weighing heavy. And I think, look, Have Hope said we don't know his personality, but I just know, like myself, like I mean, like for any player, if someone's paid 70, 80, 90 million for you, you know about it. And not a lot of these transfers that have gone through at that amount have really worked out. So yeah, I don't know. He might be able to revitalize it. I'm not too sure.
I'm 50-50 because I feel like Ten Hag's unsure about him. And if you don't have the full backing from the manager, then you're kind of doomed for failure. And it's not to blame Ten Hag. It's just maybe a feeling that he has. I think he has to show something, probably in the second half of the season, to say to Ten Hag, you know what, I'm up for this fight. Yeah, Rashford's playing well. Yeah, Garnacho's had to take my place. Yeah, you back Anthony, but I'm not going down without a fight. And I don't know if he's got it in him. And I don't know his personal character like that, but I know he's gone through a lot of personal issues this year, and maybe he's suffering. He's been suffering from that more than anything, and maybe he's been getting over that before he can actually come out better on the other side, if he is able to get over that. So I think it's a bit up in the air. I hope, because I think the talent is there. I think the talent is there for him to succeed anywhere in the world. I think we've got the manager that if he's ready, that he can do it. But I just hope that with the personal stuff he has gone through, I think there's been like a few deaths around him in terms of family and friends. If he can get over that and get his mind right as he's been trying to do, we've got a player on our hands there, and it means that we don't have to look at the wide positions for a long time. With Garnacho coming through, that's 4 players in those positions sorted.
Yeah,
and Diallo out on loan at Sunderland as well. So hopefully.
Yeah, look, I listen. I'm 50-50 as well. I want it to work, but I need to make sure I don't allow my want and desire for it to work to like cloud my logic. And how many players have struggled after 18 months under a couple of managers and then turned it round? Like, how many examples are there of someone then working? You'd have to research it. I can't think of any off the top of my head. You could probably argue he's not a talented, but you could argue someone like Jordan Henderson at Liverpool, as an example, looked dead in the water and he turned it round. And most people with their own clubs, I mean, you could argue Granit Xhaka's doing it in a different role and position, as an example. And there may be a few others out there that everyone remembers about their own clubs. What I would say, though, is that Luke Shaw and Rashford's back to where he was. Luke Shaw has turned things round, but are we going to get consistency from them? I was about to mention David De Gea's form's turned around until that mad mistake the other day. But I'm hopeful, because if we can get him cooking at Dortmund level, again, that is just, it's a new signing for the club. As cliche as that is, it's a new signing again for Man United. The saving grace is he's not 27, 28, 29, injury prone, etc. He is young still, so there is the opportunity to kind of turn this round. But I think Jadon Sancho falls into that category. Renato Sanchez is a prime example. There's another young player, Joao Felix, we've been talking about today. I just think he left Dortmund too soon. We all wanted him, but I think he probably should have had another couple of years in Germany, growing up a little bit more. You know, I think sometimes there's just the lure of the money and the fame and it's Man United or it's Arsenal or it's Liverpool now, and I'm going to go. And I think some of these players would have been better off just staying where they were for a couple more years before maybe making these moves, but we'll see. Mateos here says, Terry, big respect, but every Arsenal transfer linked you're reporting about Arsenal failed to materialize. I think you might have an Arsenal transfer juju. I mean, it's not my fault that it doesn't get done. I report the news as it's trending, and I know you know that's why you're saying it. But as the report from Ben Jacobs said, Chelsea weren't even that seriously looking at Felix until the last 24, 48 hours, and they've lost them 2 games and they've changed their minds. That's why, though, what I will say is this. Whenever you hear the PR bullshit of, we're thinking about this, that we might come back to it later in the summer, you should condemn your club for that if you want the player, because things change at the drop of a hat in transfers and you can't stop it. And the irony is, I've been asked by so many content creators, why do I cover so many transfers? Because this is the very thing I love. I love the ebb and the flow, or what if something changes, what if a club changes their mind? And the most prime example of this, you Gooners should be aware of. Your club briefed every journalist and his dog that you would not pay the asking price for Nicolas Pepe. They told the journalist this. And then in the space of 2 days, they changed their minds and paid the money. That wasn't the journalists that were wrong or the YouTubers. I'm sure AFTV must have done a video on it at the time, said that's not happening based on these reports. And then it did. The journalists weren't wrong. The clubs changed their mind. And all you then get is the other clubs that miss out start like putting out their PR stories. But this is how you know they're a lie, generally speaking. Every club puts out the same story. It's a little bit like, I don't know if you guys ever come across this when you interview people. When you interview people that have been to university, there's always a question at big companies around, can you give me a time where you were put in a difficult situation, you had to lead a team? And they all give the same example of when they were a team leader of a group of people on a project at university and nobody was communicating that well. And they arranged a group night out having pizza or playing pool when they brought the story is the same for every single person. And then I found out there's a website that gives you these stories. Like it's the same nonsense. So that's what I would say about that, my friend. But we'll keep bringing you the transfer stories. Your job, though, is to use your brain and give your opinion on what you think, is what I always say to people on these. Gentlemen, look, I want to say thank you to all coming on and being involved in the show today. We're live after Oxford versus Arsenal later. I actually don't want a shot because I really am looking forward to City Arsenal in the next round, if I'm being honest with you. Although it would be... Do you know why I don't want Oxford to win tonight? Because you wouldn't even get a reaction if that's bad. It would be, that's okay. We can focus on the league now. Like at least if it's a rivalry, it's a great game. So I do want Arsenal to knock out Oxford tonight because I want that big, because there's no big games in the 4th round now. Like if this is it, like it's this game or that's it. So we do want it. Always a pleasure, JJ. Have hope. Thank you very much. Neeks, an honor as always, and of course to Guna Lee and Patrick that were on the show earlier. Thank you to all my viewers and super chatters. You're amazing. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see